Today, we took you to get your consultation on the breast.
I get the fattest ick if a man wants to split the bill on a person.
If he split the bill on the first day, he is so...
I'm not marrying you. You can't provide for me.
But I will say this, though. What kind of
I think
drink
it was
you got?
Ronald Reagan or something.
Yeah.
I'm mad at him.
You're mad at him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he alive still?
Ronald Reagan? I don't know. Is he alive still?
Sure.
Javon, is he still alive? Ronald Reagan? Let me look it up.
I fear he's not. Blue eyes.
Think so? Why does she have that
Listen,
now?
she never went a day without letting me know her eyes were blue. Okay. So I know
Why
for a
is it
fact
blue?
my
She
eyes
said that?
were blue when I was a kid. Yeah, all the time.
And then they just turn brown.
Apparently. But Papa says that the outside crevice of her
What do you call it? You call it the retina?
the
The retina around the eye?
is blue. She made me
Are you
look at it.
impressed that I know that?
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
How was your
You
day
remember?
today?
It was good. You know, I was
Is he loud enough?
yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
loud.
Am I too loud?
You're like loud.
Well, I just talk loud. You're like
Yeah.
whispering, so I'm getting mad.
I kind of can put people to sleep. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I'm
You
that
should
voice.
be like one of those-
I'm that voice, that ASMR. I could put people to sleep. But what I was saying was like my day is really good.
You want to tell them what we did today?
So today we took you to get your consultation on the breast. Your consultation because you're getting a boob job soon.
Heck yeah, I am. I can't wait. I'm just going to surprise the world. And it's happening very, very soon. And I'm just going to pop one day.
You're just gonna pop and just see.
Let's just say I have quite a few very important events happening a couple days after. So let's hope that all goes well because...
It'll be well. What if like they just like your breasts all the way at your chin?
Oh, they
It's
said that
just
was going to...
secrets. Just like, bro, what the heck is going on with Shannon?
They said that. They said, make sure you know that it's going to be your collarbone. I said, great. So turtlenecks it is. So on the red carpet, I will be in a turtle.
Turtleneck.
That's okay.
It's a SpongeBob reference. But anyway.
We had a good time. I needed him to let me know like what size I should go.
Yeah. I was there. I was a great support.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I was a great support.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
I needed the doctor to tell me his opinion a little more, but for sure loved your opinion as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know what we haven't done in quite a while? We haven't gone on like a date. Like you remember like we used to go on dates all the time when we had our kids?
When we didn't have kids.
Oh, when we didn't have kids?
Right.
We went on dates a lot. We spent a lot of money on like dates.
We probably spent more money door dashing without dates.
Yeah, yes and no. But no, we definitely
We spent
$600
$600 at Nobu the other day, and I feel like I wasn't even full yet.
I was definitely full. I was definitely full. But no, like I feel like we haven't like went on like too many dates as like we used to because we had kids.
We used to do every Friday date night, but obviously that hasn't happened in a while. Our night nurse is done soon, so we should have been done that.
Yeah.
Because now we definitely can't go on dates.
I mean, I feel like when we have kids, date nights turn into a family night.
We
And it's
bring
not
the
really
whole
date
family.
nights.
And listen, if we're going to bring our kids, we're definitely going to bring my parents. And if we're going to bring my parents, we might as well just bring the whole world with us. Because,
I feel
I need all the support I can get.
What if one time like we're on a date and I was like, it's your turn to pay. Like we split the bill.
I see where you're going.
What if I just said, nah, this is your time to pay? Could you imagine a world like that? I'm like, well, I mean,
that happens a lot more than you think.
Happens. I'm saying that happens. Like when you're on, like, I mean, we haven't done it. When we're in a relationship, we did it. Like we kind of split.
When we were in a relationship, we're not in one of those anymore.
I mean, like we're a boyfriend and girlfriend. That's what I mean. We're like boyfriend and girlfriend.
To
like
be
we
honest,
split.
I think okay, first of all, a first formal date should always be paid for by a man.
I can agree with that.
But I'm trying to think. We were youthful in our first date. We went to Chick-fil-A. And I remember I was driving because Joanne didn't have a car.
I didn't. I was a pedestrian.
So, you know what though? I do remember you handing me your card.
Thank you.
I do remember that.
I was raised well. Thank you. Thank you,
for
Ida
sure
Johnson.
paid
And
you
George
for
Johnson.
sure paid, because I remember this is when I wasn't eating food.
Okay.
And I got a Dr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. And I called my mom crying, literally a couple hours after the date, because I didn't want to look uncool to you. And I ordered Dr. Pepper, and it wasn't a diet, because I didn't want to order.
You tried to impress me. Huh?
I know. I was like, I eat food. I'm so cool. I was not healthy at the time. And I called my mom crying. I was like, Mom, I had a regular Dr. Pepper. It wasn't a diet.
That was funny.
He healed me from my eating disorder.
I mean, and I'm honored that I did that.
But you paid for that Dr. Pep.
Okay.
Even though it wasn't a diet.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So, yeah, our first date was Chick-fil-A.
Then we did Domino's Pizza.
And a lot of our dates were a lot of door dashing. We door dashed.
Listen, you definitely paid for those, though.
I did. And I don't think that's the same for everybody, though.
No.
Because I think everybody, and boyfriend, girlfriend, I feel like it's different. Like, the woman can pay some, the guy can pay some. And I feel like
I feel like that's
fine.
where, like, it's controversial, because I think people think that the girl should never pay. False. I feel like whenever we came to my house, I paid. Whenever we went to your house, you paid. We were just always at his house.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think, like, I don't think the girl should be expected to pay necessarily, but I think the girl should want to.
Okay.
Like, let me cover it this time.
Yeah.
You know?
So I would say this. And I think it also depends on, like, what stage of life you're at, too. Because we're talking about college.
This was in college, and we were both poor. I mean, we were both on scholarship.
I wouldn't say poor. I mean, we
were both on
definitely didn't have a lot
scholarship,
of
so
money,
we did get our, $1,200 stipend.
We got our
My rent was
stipend.
$800, so I had $400, but all that $400 went to Fashion Nova, so I don't know. I had nothing left for you.
You were swaggy back then. You were swaggy. I actually admire your swag. But besides that, I think, like, us, like, back then, it also depends on, like, where you're at in life. 'Cause I feel like in college, like, it really don't matter. But when you're an adult, and
it's different when you're an adult.
It's a little different.
I do feel that way.
It's a little different. Like, I think the man, the first date, like, when you're, like, a grown up,
when you're a grown woman and man.
Yeah, I think the man should pay for.
I get the fattest ick if a man wants to split the bill on a first
If he split the bill on the first date, he is so.
I'm not marrying you. You can't provide for me.
But I will say this, though.
You can't even feed me.
I will say this. Yes, the first date, but the second date, if you're like boyfriend and girlfriend, I think for the man, in the man's defense, like, for example, if he comes from a lot of money, if he's affluent, if he has some money, I feel like at some point he wants to be like, all right, is she always going to expect, like, her meal being paid for? Because it almost seems like he's getting taken advantage of. You know what I mean? And I feel like he wants to know if, like, she's actually for him or is she actually for the money. So I get that.
You
from
can
that
always
point.
know what a girl is looking for if she asks for things.
Yes.
I think, like, if she's, like, off rip asking for, like, gifts.
You said off rip. I've never heard you say that.
That's a California term.
Whoa, look at you.
That's a California term.
Oh, it is? I never heard you say, well, I wouldn't say never, but you don't say that often. I like that.
Thanks.
Off rip. You got some slang to you. You been hanging around me.
I just said it's a California term, but okay.
But no.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, but I think you're right about that. And
yeah.
I think it's best when a man does pay for it, yes. But I think, like, for a woman, I feel like, as for a man, we shouldn't always be like, oh, yeah, he got to pay for this, he got to pay for that. Because it almost seems like you're taking advantage of him.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it. I think sometimes men are a lot more prideful than they want to admit. And when they feel like they need to be asking women, like, what are your intentions? Like, girl.
Yeah.
Or boy.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing from you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to go on a date, but guess what? Now I don't want to date you anymore.
So what happens? How do you feel like when a married couple, like, splits things?
I think it's foolish and dumb. We are so passionate about this, though, because
I am.
Literally, the whole split, what is it? Joint bank account versus
joint bank account
that's
and
like
separate bank accounts.
Oh my gosh, that is like one of the top things that I get on my page all the time. Like, what should we do? Like, we're about to get married. Like, should we do joint? First of all, everyone knows what I already believe. I don't think that you should have any account besides your joint ones. You can have 17 bank accounts. I don't care, but they should all be joint. You should both have access to it.
Right.
Let me just get my allowance for the week.
I do think it's a bit interesting when you have separate bank accounts because I feel like marriage is all about communication for the most part. And I feel like if you see what the other person is paying for, you know what's going on.
I would be so unwell if you were like out here buying so much stuff on your, like, obviously he makes more money than me, right?
Okay.
So like if you were out here like spending, but then like I only got like an allowance essentially.
Not even an allowance. If you
or
had
you
the
were
money
buying
that
stuff, if you were buying stuff without me knowing,
Yeah.
rude. We have this
Yeah.
thing though where we kind of just tell each other if it's like something more than like $5,000. We'll
I
tell
do.
each
I have
other.
a certain conviction. Like if I'm like about to pay for something, I don't pay for myself like a lot.
We don't usually buy stuff more than $5,000 without the other person needing to know,
No.
unless it's a gifty gift.
That's a gift.
Then I won't tell you.
But I really do get convicted. I'm just like, man, I don't know if I should pay for this.
It's wrong.
And I just
You
don't.
are a union. Why are we buying stuff without the other person
I
knowing?
agree.
It's literally
I
wrong.
agree.
I feel like men love to have separate bank accounts.
I do.
At least in the world that
And
we're in.
It's just interesting. Like, I don't like the whole separate bank account for a couple reasons, and one of them is like the secrecy of just like
You can do anything.
You can do anything, but it's just like it puts the girl at a weird vibe. It puts her at a
Let me
weird
put it
vibe.
this way. If the girl was the moneymaker and she wanted a separate bank account, would the man be okay with it? No, he'd want to spend her money. But the thing is if you're going to get down on your knee, the least you can do is literally share a bank account with me.
I would
why
say,
are we like penny pinching? Like, why are we literally like, you make what you make, I make what I make,
Right.
put it into the account.
I would
Who
say this
cares?
though. I would say a man would feel a little. He would feel very insecure if the woman
100%.
made more money. So I don't think he would say like, "Oh, I want to make money off you." I don't think he would necessarily want to take her money.
But
Like,
that's
I
the
feel
other
like
annoying thing
guilt
about men,
and
right?
the pride, like the guilt and the pride that he would be like, "I don't want to take from her. Like I would rather use my money."
So the universal problem we're seeing here is pride, right? Because
fair.
men, right, don't.
You were going in on men, bro.
I'm getting angry. This isn't my money. I'm gonna spend this on what I want. You can have an allowance,
That's
whatever.
fair.
Right?
That's
Ew,
fair.
prideful, gross.
That's fair.
But then if you make money, I don't think I can handle like a girl making more money than me. Like you must figure it out. You must figure it out.
That's fair.
It's gonna be okay.
And there's always like it's always on like certain type of men
It's
too.
always about money. Why are we so
it's
pressed
about
on
money.
money?
Well, let's talk about the world that I'm in, for example. Like I know people who do have separate accounts with their spouse. Do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it. I do think it's weird. I think it's weird because like say if like y'all out to eat, you just like, all right, you gonna split that? Be like, all right, you eating? You got
I'll
that filet
use
mignon.
my card tonight.
You got that filet mignon. I don't know. Like you gonna split that with me? And it's just like it just puts you off. Like it's just not right.
It doesn't seem correct.
Yeah, I don't necessarily.
I just feel like if we're making human beings together and stuff, like the least
sure.
you can do is like literally share a bank account with me, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're making humans. We share a bed at night.
I get that. I think the bank account.
Do you like your money more than me?
I don't. I like I said. I think it's a certain person. I think it's a certain person that's always had their thing. Like if you always had your bank account, like this is mine. And honestly, this is a whole nother like argument. This is kind of like a prenup conversation, but it's honestly like this is mine and you got yours, and I don't want you to take from mine or take advantage of what's mine.
So then, in what part of our relationship are we married then?
I get it.
You know, because I feel like if we're making these weird distinctions between what's yours and what's mine, then why are we here? Like, might as well not be here. You know,
biblically, it should be together, obviously.
Yeah.
Like we're talking
but
about.
you're almost making it more about money, right?
No, for sure.
Because you don't want things about, I don't want it to be about money, so I'm just going to keep mine, you're going to keep yours, and no. The more you separate, the more it becomes about that thing.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I agree. What do you think? What do you think worked for us, like, in terms of like the whole like money thing? Because at first we did have a separate account, but that was for
because we were dating. I literally rebuke anybody who has a joint bank account with their significant other when they are dating.
Oh,
I think it's foolish.
You setting yourself up.
Yeah, you're not married yet.
You set yourself up. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Not yet.
This is how I talk about too about like the stuff that you do for your man.
Right.
You're not wifey. You don't gotta cook for him every day. Don't do his laundry. He doesn't get that privilege yet. Is there a ring on your finger?
Wow.
Then why are you doing that? No,
I just think she's trying to win him over.
Ew.
She's trying to win him over.
Ew. If I want to cook for you, I will. But it should not be a thing where I have to do all these things in order to receive a ring. No.
Right.
I'm not going to be a wifey until I'm a wifey.
Right.
If you're not going to give me the ring, then I'm not going to give you the benefits of it. So you get the benefits and you don't have to commit to me.
I feel like we, as not like me and you, but I feel like as a society, we don't take marriage as sacred as we should.
I just found out the other day. Hold on.
What kind of
I think
drink
it was
you got?
Ronald Reagan or something.
Yeah.
I'm mad at him.
You're mad at him?
Yeah.
Okay. Ronald Reagan? I don't know. Is he alive still?
Sure.
Javon, is he still alive? Ronald Reagan? Let me look it up.
I fear he's not.
You keep talking. No.
Did you know that off the top of your head?
2004? Wow, that was...
Okay, I feel bad that I didn't know that. That was Athens.
Athens what?
Greece, the Olympics.
Bro, what the heck?
So this is what I have to say about him. Did you know that getting a divorce used to be a thing where you would get punished?
And
I'm team that. I'm team that. Like, why? You want to divorce me? Punishment.
Yeah.
You know? And I
agree.
think, obviously, if there was a reasoning like cheating or abuse, things like that, like obviously.
We get those things.
Divorce.
We get those stipulations, but we don't.
But just for a casual, like, I don't think I like you that much anymore.
I don't love you anymore.
I don't have my love for you.
Those
faded.
things right there, like, aren't the best for me. Like,
no.
Oh, like, I don't love you the same, or no,
Right.
she's changed.
See, because I think that people think that we aren't team divorce. I am team divorce. If I
team divorce,
if you
your
cheated,
team, okay.
If you cheated on me, yeah, I'd probably
okay.
divorce you.
Okay.
To be honest, or like,
You don't love me?
I love you, but you broke our covenant together.
Jinx.
I'm just saying, or like abuse.
Yeah.
If that was happening to me,
we get those things though.
Right.
But we're talking about the things that
casual,
don't biblically
love
don't follow what needs for divorce, the means for divorce. Yeah. So the thing is like this. Like I don't think I think the only thing about divorce is that like we're getting into the divorce conversation.
We're talking about, I think it was a financial punishment. Don't quote me. But like if you got a divorce, you had punishment. But in 2004, that's unfortunately when he left us.
2000, yeah, whatever. No, I think divorce should be a punishment.
Before.
I think divorce should be a punishment because like I think it gives people the easy way out if there's no punishment.
Right.
It's just like, like you don't like me? Okay.
Unfortunately, if money is the only thing that's keeping us together because we don't want to have to pay to get a divorce, then that's really sad.
Yeah.
But if that's what it takes.
I think, no doubt.
If that's what it takes.
People ain't want to lose their bread.
Because that's the reason people get divorced anyway. That's number one, right?
People not trying to lose their bread.
No. So sad.
Yeah. I think with divorce, I think it should be a punishment. Not a punishment, but like I think there should be some consequences like money. Like it should be really expensive to get a divorce because it almost forces you to.
It should be so expensive.
It should be like
because
all right.
Listen, you don't have to marry me. Did you know that?
I know
you
that.
didn't have to do that. You didn't, and guess what? Because you did. It's gonna be crazy for you.
No, but I feel like it should be like something should be going on. I feel like it shouldn't be easy.
Peas. It's easy peas. You can get divorced in like a sec.
Yeah, I don't think it should be easy.
No.
And the reason why is because I feel like marriage is such a sacred thing. I think people, like I said before, people don't take marriage as a sacred thing, and it's a covenant, like we said before. Like, but I think people say like, oh well, they don't love me anymore. Oh well, he's not treating me right. Oh, and it's like, bro, like y'all got to figure it out.
And I feel like that happens a lot in dating relationships. And to be honest, that's fine.
That's fine.
Do that.
You would rather. You don't
like me no more. I'm so glad we're not married.
You would rather do wrong in a relationship than do wrong in a marriage, because it's just it's different levels to it, and that's what people don't understand. Like there's different levels to a marriage, and there's different levels to a relationship. So,
yeah, I get it. I don't agree with that fully. I think that you shouldn't do harm to anyone ever.
I'm not saying harm. Like I'm saying it would much rather be better for you to do it.
If you were gonna steal my money, I'd rather you do it while we're dating for sure.
I'm not even saying that.
You know,
but I get it.
But if we would have a joint bank account, you wouldn't be stealing my money because if I want to buy a Chanel bag, guess what? We both invested in that Chanel bag, didn't we?
All right.
Do you know?
I get it. So, so yes, we talked about the money train and all of that, but how does that? I feel like some of our friends that we have, they are living together before the marriage. And I don't feel like that's right. Because honestly, like the whole money thing and the marriage, that kind of like, it kind of makes everything a little murky.
It makes it so murky. I think too, like, if I was living with someone, which I don't recommend.
Living with someone, just living with someone in general, you don't recommend that?
I would live with anyone but you, unless we were married.
Okay.
I just feel like it makes things so murky, and you go through the trials and tribulations of marriage without the commitment of marriage, and it's so easy peasy to say, peace out.
Yeah.
Boy Scout,
I feel like it's hard. Like, it really is hard. I mean,
marriage
the thing is, like, look, I'm not saying it's not possible, like, for it to be, I feel like those are outliers for people to live together and things to be great, and then they go into marriage and all that. Like, that's wonderful. But the stories we hear, a lot of the stories we hear are just like people who live together before marriage, and then they break up
because they have a lot of arguments about money.
And then they have like, and they kind of deal with divorce before, and it's not divorce.
That's true too.
Who are we gonna do with the dog? Who's gonna keep the apartment? Who's gonna keep the house? I'm just like, look, legally, y'all got to figure that out.
They don't.
Because the legal.
No, they don't though, because they aren't under a legal bind. So unfortunately, you must figure this out amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
I don't like that for them. I feel like whenever I see people living together, they live together a really long time. And listen, for me, I was trying to be a married lady. I don't want to be married to you for 30 years. I want to be married to you for 75 years.
Yeah.
Right?
And this would be...
But if I let you live with me first, we would be married for 30. Right?
Fair.
Because you'd be comfy goes.
Fair. And I agree. And I feel like this is a different conversation for a different time. But it's part of the reason why we eloped.
We totally eloped in 2 weeks.
Because, we, the long distance it just wasn't it. Like...
Long distance.
Long distance.
And then
I feel like the biggest one was like when it was in pre-draft. Like, so pre-draft, like I was in Anaheim, California doing my training.
Upland.
And you're Upland, which is like an hour away. But with traffic, it was OD, like an hour and a half.
And I was making that drive all the time. He was too, but I really came to you more than anything.
And then, just going back and forth was just like a lot, especially in California. People in California know about
traffic.
That traffic in the Orange County into San Bernardino County. It's just very hectic, especially at 5. You might as well forget about it. But just that drive and all that, although I did love you, I'm not going to say I did not love you. I just feel like, I was like, man, what am I waiting on? Like, why?
I do think sometimes a man needs to have a little push, like,
what am I waiting on?
Guess what? You're never going to be ready for marriage.
No,
financially,
you're not.
Definitely not. Let me tell you one way to combat that. Elope in Vegas.
We got married for $100.
$190.
$190. Sorry. Where'd that 90 come from?
We broke my bank, but we didn't break your bank. I also think we had canes.
We had canes as our wedding. What do you call it? What do you call it? The ceremony. What do you call it after the ceremony you get married?
The reception.
The reception.
Is that what it's called?
Our reception. Yeah, our reception was at Raising Cane's at the Vegas. Whatever.
So if he ever uses the excuse that he can't marry you because he's broke, he's lying.
You're so annoying.
He doesn't want to spend money on you.
You're so annoying. I think people want to have their like dream wedding and stuff like that.
Me too, but I can do that another time.
Yeah, you still haven't got it. I'm sorry.
I still didn't get it.
I'm sorry.
But the 5 years of not getting it made me realize how much I really don't care. I think if anything, I wanted the pics.
I don't think
I can do that.
I don't think I should say that. I think that's more of what you should say. Because if I said I didn't care, that would look really wrong. I didn't care. I didn't care if she didn't get her wedding.
Girls, weddings are for girls.
It is. I mean, we enjoy it too, but we enjoy it living it vicariously through y'all. Like the experience of, wedding, your dress, and you be smiling, and then you crying. You bring a bridezilla and all that. But
anyway.
But back on topic, I don't think living together before marriage is something that I don't think is wise. I wouldn't say I don't,
I do see people do it successfully. There are successful case studies. I don't
case studies?
I don't think there's many.
There's not many.
To be honest, most of the people, if I had to tell you people in my life that I know, the people that have lived together aren't together anymore.
I would say
there's maybe 10% are.
Yes, and the 10% haven't gotten married yet. And I think that is the reason why, like, they haven't lasted, because it's just like, all right, like, I'm waiting on this dude, and this dude hasn't popped a question yet. Like,
and why is that? Because he has wifey.
I think they're playing house. Like, when you're living together before marriage, you are playing house, and that leaves a man. I'm not trying to like be like a square and saying like, and giving out game to what the men do. But I'm just saying like, you're making him comfortable, and he's not saying doing what he wants to do, but he just gets comfortable. He gets complacent. He's just like, well, I don't have to marry if we already doing what married people do. Like, it's just a paper.
Don't have to get comfortable. But also, y'all have to figure out how to live life separate. Because when you aren't married, you end up obviously still having separate bank accounts because you're not married yet.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let me get my 50. And you nearly get comfortable after years and years and years of having split everything.
Yeah.
So then say you do get married one day, you end up joining into a marriage with split everything. You're just comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And it just never works.
Yeah.
It never works.
It doesn't work. And like I said, like it leaves, the man gets comfortable and the woman gets uncomfortable because she sees friends getting married. She sees other people asking like, all right, what's going on? It's been 3 years, been 4 years. And then you have that. But then you have guys who are proposing and then, you got the wedding 2 years later. It's just like, bro, you done waited 6 years.
I do think that if a man doesn't know after 2 years.
It's tough.
I think 2 years, if you don't know that she's the one.
I think yeah. At
least no. You don't have to have had proposed, I guess. No. But like if you don't know that she's the one.
Yeah.
Like if he says, I just don't know if you're the one yet. Okay.
We've seen like shows. We've seen shows.
That. We've seen that happen
too. Shows.
We've seen that in real life.
In real life, no doubt. But we see that in shows too. And we looking like, bro, what?
Yeah. The ultimatum.
I was just thinking that.
Don't get me started.
Bro, I just don't understand. Like, I think people take a long time and they get very complacent. Just like, I don't have to do anything.
You want to know why? Because marriage is work. Marriage is a lot of work. And it's hard.
It's hard.
If you think that you're going to be fully prepped to jump into a marriage.
I don't think I was ready necessarily. I knew I wanted to be with you the rest of my life, but I wasn't ready for marriage. I didn't know what it was. It was like an unknown territory.
Which is exactly how it should be. Like, ready as in financially, absolutely not. Ready as in we know what the heck we're doing, no. We literally did nothing, we didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
But it worked.
I feel like if anybody who plays video games, like, marriage is like that locked map that you just haven't been to. It's like it's like this gray map. It's like a black gray map. You just like, bruh, I don't know how to navigate this place because I've never been in this territory, this space before.
I do think it's an excuse that people use because there's nothing else in life that you can jump into and feel like you're prepared.
Yeah.
But marriage is the one thing that people are like, oh, I have to feel prepared. I was like, when have you ever been prepared for something
for anything,
new?
Right.
But now all of a sudden, this is something you have to be like so expert at before you start it.
I mean, I will say this. I respect that they are taking
it's serious.
It's serious because it is serious. It is very serious. Like, I would say marriage with you, not saying with you, but like being married, it has been different from our courtship and relationship. It's totally different. It's a totally different space.
Yeah, I feel like people act like it's not.
All right.
Especially if they live together. They're like, oh, it's the same thing. All it is a piece of paper. No.
I'm like, bro, it is so different. No. Like, us in a relationship, I mean, obviously we didn't live together, but us in a relationship and us, like, now is totally different. And you see all colors of me, and I see all colors of you.
And if we were dating, I probably would have broke up with you.
Definitely.
You know?
Because you was getting on my nerves.
I feel like the first 2 years... I feel like the first 2 years of marriage are really hard. This is the thing.
It is.
You're essentially jumping into like a playing house marriage if you're living with someone, right?
Yeah.
So the first 2 years of living with someone is probably really hard. Just like the first 2 years of marriage is really hard.
Right.
Obviously, people are going to break up because they can just peace out. Right. You know? Like, but it's because...
In a marriage, you ain't breaking up. In a marriage, you going to a different room. That's breaking up. You go to a different room. Like if y'all get into a fight, it's not like, oh, I'm done with you. I'm done. It's like,
the whole,
I'm going to a different room.
Leave you.
But there obviously isn't every marriage. We're just like, oh, we're getting a divorce. Like, that's in every marriage. And it's just like, those words are said, but they don't really mean anything.
Nobody,
Like, those words, like, they don't mean nothing. Like, you saying you get a divorce don't mean anything. You just go to a different room. You come back later, and y'all talk about it.
When me and you are mad at each other, like, we'll go to the other room for a few minutes, and then...
Yeah.
Depending on how mad we are.
I mean, early in our relationship...
When we were dating, he would leave.
Yeah.
I rebuke that. Thankfully, he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't do it.
Now, when we're mad at each other, he'll go play with Dory.
Bro, I'm telling you, when you have kids, you're arguing like it is totally different.
You can't argue in front of your kids.
You can't argue in front of your kids. That's one thing we've been really good at is like...
Imagine having kids with someone when you're not married.
That's tough. That is really
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
the Lord
another topic.
needs to have
That's another
covering
topic.
over your marriage. The enemy does not want to see marriage win.
That's true.
The enemy does not want to see marriage win. But thankfully, we have a covenant with ourselves and the Lord to bless our marriage.
Yeah.
When you do all that without the blessing from the Lord,
Yeah. That's true. That's a word.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I will say, from a spiritual standpoint, like the enemy wants people who are in relationships to just stay in relationships because he knows how serious and how God can bless a marriage.
Yeah.
And he wants people to stay in relationships, and he wants them to live together, and he wants them to, get into things that.
I also think too, like marriage is the closest thing that we have as people to seeing the relationship that we have between Jesus and ourselves.
Yeah.
Like Jesus's relationship with us is exemplified through me and you's relationship. Yeah. That's the closest thing that we can see in a human perspective, right? So if we have the enemy try and make a fake version of that, like having kids and living with each other before we're married, it's not that good.
Yeah.
You're not going to be as happy because the Lord's not covering it, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not that good, then people are like, oh, well, this isn't that good. That can't be that good. Nothing's that good. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
I agree.
I just don't see that.
No, I get it. And I think it would help just by stepping into the unknown. And obviously like when we're doing this podcast, we're doing it to like kind of encourage people in that, and not to be like be bashing people or whatever the case may be, but more so encouraging, just like give you insight, just like, bro, this is what the enemy's trying to do, and we keep feeding into it all the time. It's just like knowing like, all right, this person's going to do this, and I know they're going to do it, and I keep falling into the trap every time. It's just like, bro, like we're trying to tell you what it is. We're trying to give you the game to it.
The same stuff keeps happening over and over and over again. We have to learn from the people before us.
Yeah, and so it's just simply that. Like I think like even the living together part, like playing house, that is just like people need to do better at that. And even though like I wish at time, like man, I just wish Shannon lived with me, but we know that isn't going to be as good as when we're married. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like discipline. But yeah, I think it'll get better. It'll get better through time.
It gets better.
Yeah. So this is our break, but I feel like what else you want to cover?
I think we're good.
Want to cover that?
Should we close out? It's 30 minutes.
It is 30 minutes.
Obviously, there's a lot more we can talk about, but that'll have to be for another time.
Yeah.
I actually had a lot of people submit things in for us to talk about, so we can go through those and maybe like Q&As at some point or something.
We'll do some Q&As at some point.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good to like hear what people got to say.
Yeah.
Hear what they got to say.
But that's probably the top topic that people ask. So marriage and finances.
Marriage and finances, yeah. It's just so difficult. It really is difficult.
It's difficult because we make it difficult. I don't think it's difficult.
I mean, yeah.
The love of money is the root of evil.
All right. Don't be spending no words now. Jeez Louise. Love of money, root of evil.
I'm just saying, clearly.
Yeah, this was fun, Shan.
Period.
I feel like
welcome to the Jew and Shan podcast.
This is the Jew and Shan podcast. We had literally no intro. We didn't even give like an intro. Like, hey guys, this is the Jew and Shan podcast. Like
we're gonna keep it casual up in here.
We kind of just went right into it. Like people was just sitting at our house just kicking it, and we just kind of went into conversation. And that's kind of how like I want it. Perfect. Well, how would you foresee this whole
I like it this way, and we'll bring friends on and talk.
We'll bring friends on. We'll bring some good friends on too.
Yeah, I love that.
Some friends with good insight. Yeah. Well. Yeah. So that is all. Thanks for joining, and we'll see y'all soon.
Please subscribe and follow on Spotify. Is that how it works? I don't even know how this works. Follow me.